Welcome to Eye Level to High Level, where real talk meets real results. I'm Jimmy Rios, and each week we break down the mindset, money moves, and strategies you need to elevate your life and business. Let's level up. Welcome to the Eye Level to High Level podcast, where we're going to help you take your business to the next level. Today, I'm excited to have my friends Chad and Keri on here with us. They own Lotus Evolution Wellness, and I had the pleasure of having Chad on last week, and now we have the continuation because we had so much fun. We had to bring the brains and the beauty to the mix and have Keri tell us a little bit about her business and some of the challenges that she faced and faces, and get real about everything, because business in and of itself is a tough thing, and entrepreneurship and at any level is very difficult. It's not for everybody, and there's a lot of nuances and a lot of challenges that go with it. But men and women are very different, and we take things, I for one am a risk taker, and that's my DNA. And my wife is more conservative. Has to read everything and make sure everything's perfect. And we're different like that, but we thrive together in our differences. And with Chad and Keri, I've been blessed to for now over a little bit, almost close to a year, work with them in helping them with their business. And I wanted to open this up for a discussion to talk about some of these challenges. And Keri, I know that we met through BNI, and I knew very little about your business at the time. And when we first met, there was some needs and some challenges and some things. But let's go back a little bit and tell us a little bit about, I know you were talking backstage, and you had mentioned that you were in the health and wellness field working for, another company. But what were the things that motivated you, and when did you start becoming an entrepreneur? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it does go back to the days when I did outside sales.
Yeah.
I really, really loved that position because I had the life. I had the freedom. I wasn't punching a clock from 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. I was making my own schedule. I was traveling a lot. I was meeting other professionals. It was fun.
Yeah.
And it was really through those experiences that I got bit by the entrepreneurial bug. And it does go back to a former client mm-hmm. during that time, a woman. She was all about entrepreneurial life.
Yeah.
And I caught the bug from her, basically. She got me very excited about being an entrepreneur. And she had it in her mind that I was her business partner. I was her, I guess...
Protege?
Yeah, well, the perfect business partner, we'll say that. And we started developing a business together.
Wow.
Her as my partner. That was probably in 2008.
Okay.
That we started to develop a business. But I didn't actually open a business until 2011.
Okay.
And it wasn't with her.
So you started in 2011. Now you're in Arizona? Are you still in Ohio?
I was in Ohio.
Okay.
When I started that.
So what year did you make it out to Arizona?
That was in 2019, July 18th,
Okay.
2019.
So you already had 8 years in business for self, right, when you came out?
Correct.
And then COVID
it was a little bit longer because I started out subleasing.
Okay.
And then expanded. So it was about 10 years.
Okay. So you go through 10 years, and you go through some experiences in entrepreneurship and having your own business. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced that you can look back on and say, I learned a lot from these last 10 years? Before we talk about post-COVID, right? And I like to call it the Maricopa years and the Scottsdale years, because you guys are now gravitating to a whole new evolution in your business, right? And so, but those 10 years are very formative because you had to have learned a lot in those first 10 years. And you probably, if you're anything like me, made a lot of mistakes, right? Tell us a little bit about that, those first 10 years and the challenges.
Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. I would say my biggest challenge was being a single mom, raising 3 kids,
Wow.
and not having any capital.
Wow.
And really needing to bring a paycheck home.
Right. So how'd you bootstrap? What are some of the things that you had to do to get through? Obviously, it's not easy, but what'd you do?
It started off with my friend. She was more stable financially, had a little bit more behind her. But it didn't work out with us. And I
Partnerships are hard.
They are. It kind of saddens me because that was the end of our friendship, unfortunately. But
Collateral damage that happens.
Collateral damage, absolutely. And then I had another business partner who was initially going to be her and I, our investor, one of our investors anyway.
Yeah.
And then he became my business partner.
Oh, wow. Did you ever have to go back to work, like a 9-to-5 type of job, while you were still building your business? Did that part ever happen in that 10 years where you had to kind of juggle both?
No.
Oh, good.
And fortunately, that first year that we opened, we did really well.
Nice.
So, no. And there was no time because we were really busy.
So now we fast forward a little bit, and it's post-COVID, right? COVID has its own place in history as one of the craziest times for all of us, right? But post-COVID, you're now in Maricopa.
Yes.
Okay, so you're in Maricopa, Arizona, and for those that are listening to it, Maricopa is a growing city that is outside of like the Chandler area in Arizona, about 30 minutes. Is that
South?
South. All right, they're about 35 minutes south, and it's just in its infant stages still. It's been around 20 years, and it's growing a lot. It's about 70,000 people, but it feels like a little town, right? Because you're kind of like on this island. There's only one real road that goes in and out, and so we live there now, and that's how we met. We call it the island of Maricopa. But it's different than being in the city, like being in a Scottsdale or a Chandler or a Phoenix, right? It has its own nuances and its own complexities, right? So tell us a little bit about Lotus's experience while being in Maricopa, right? And then we'll lead into how we met and move there forward to Scottsdale.
Yeah, if I could just preface that Lotus Evolutions started when I was still living in Cleveland.
Okay.
So I was in the middle of selling that business and starting a new business.
Totally different business? Or in the same health and wellness space?
Still health and wellness, and it was still a Lotus.
Okay.
So the word Lotus was in both businesses. But yeah, Lotus Evolutions really went through an evolution. But I was only living in Maricopa for 2 weeks before I registered with the state of Arizona, registered Lotus Evolutions. And I had it in my mind that I was going to start a business just in a couple months after getting there.
Wow.
And
The world changed.
Yeah, my world went upside down for sure.
Wow. So personal things happen in life, right? And
No. The demographic landscape and the commercial landscape of Maricopa was not what I was used to.
So did you even study the area before? Or was it just kind of one of those things where, like, maybe you were led by what led you to Maricopa? Because there's a lot of other cities, right? And what was the determining factor that brought you to Maricopa?
My son moved there.
Oh, okay.
My son, his wife, my granddaughter.
Got it.
So
And so the natural thing is to think, well, it shouldn't be that difficult, right?
right.
But it didn't work out that way, right?
No, it was very, very different.
Yeah.
And it didn't take long to realize that I was not going to be starting a business anytime soon.
Wow. So we met last, I think it was either May or June, right? I can't remember the exact date, but it was around that time, right? When we sat down and we started talking about some of the nuances and some of the challenges that you guys were experiencing at that moment, right? And you guys were already renting an area, a space, and you had also some treatments and things that you were doing for your business out of the home, right? And you felt that that probably wasn't the most ideal setting for what your vision was. Tell us a little bit about really what was your vision? What if you could close your eyes and blink like I Dream of Genie and have what you wanted, what was it that you wanted, right? Because you didn't have that when we met. You had very like slivers of stuff that you were working with, but it wasn't ideal. Tell us a little bit about that.
No, it was not ideal. I envisioned a destination spot.
Yeah.
And we started in the house initially, had a treatment room in the house, did other things, and then it just so happened that there was a setup that opened called Lamage, right? Yeah. And they were renting out suites.
Yeah.
So we then moved from the house, which wasn't going anywhere, to a one room. Well, actually, we started with a 2-room suite.
Sweet. And this, what were some of the, I guess, negative aspects of being in that space? Because you went there under the premise that, you know, it's kind of like a medical type or a beauty type atmosphere. Maybe thinking that would be an attraction for other like-minded individuals, right? That could use some of your services. Was that maybe not the correct process in thinking that was going to happen, or was it just not the right client base that was coming? Is that
it was not the right client base.
got it?
No.
I'd say a little bit of both, perhaps, too, in the sense like the challenges of even finding space.
Yeah.
As we talked about before, in Maricopa is it's a big hurdle.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's an opportunity. Okay, this is going to be better, but it's better than what we have.
Right.
It's still not good enough
Yeah.
for what we're trying to do. It's like maybe like training wheels
Yeah.
to the next step. But it was a hard hurdle because if you don't have the right client base anyway,
Right.
then the training wheels are not on too sturdy. So
Yeah, the training wheels are stuck.
Now there was some very heavy moves that had to be made over the course of the year, and one of those was the demographics and the geography of this, right? As we started talking about the different ideas of how you wanted to take your business, things started shaping in your mind. We started looking at different things, and what were some of the fears that you were going through at the time? Because obviously now we're talking about possibly having to sell your house, maybe go into a whole nother city, maybe having to live out of an apartment. I mean, you're like thinking of all these crazy ideas as we're trying to develop this, and I'm sure you had some apprehension, right? And some fears. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I have to say I've always been a risk taker.
Yeah?
Always been a risk taker, and I'm more afraid of staying stagnant
Yeah.
than moving ahead and taking a big risk. So I'm probably the opposite of a lot of people.
Yeah.
It did not
Especially,
scare
I
me
think,
at all.
I think for women, they can be more apprehensive, or they could be hold back a little bit more than men, probably. So
Well, it was a big risk to move to Arizona.
yeah,
And I sold my business, and I didn't look back.
Yeah.
And I saw it more of a risk to stay than to go.
yeah,
Even though I was comfortable, that's what I knew. I had my clientele, I had my business, and it really didn't dawn on me until I got here that, wow, that was my whole identity that I just walked away from.
wow. Now, tell us a little bit about the business and your services, and a little bit about how it led to Scottsdale, because ultimately there was something that happened, and here you're offered a space in Scottsdale, and tell us how that fits so well with what you guys do. Let us understand a little bit about your products and services so we know what Lotus Evolution Wellness does.
Well, the space that we had in Maricopa, we really could only focus on one service, and
Yeah.
that was our facial services.
Okay.
There wasn't the room to expand on that, and frankly, the clientele was not fully understanding and encompassing holistic health. And so my businesses have always been about health and wellness,
Yeah.
not so much the superficiality of facials, but how facials are actually part of wellness care. And what does that encompass?
Right.
So my previous business, we did skincare, organic skincare, but we also specialized in detoxification through colon hydrotherapy and nutritional services, nutritional coaching, infrared sauna. So, we had this beautiful program, if you will, and people didn't come and just do one thing. They kind of embraced it all.
Yeah.
And so when clients would come in and they were there for a facial, I just found it in me. It's just so naturally within me to start coaching,
Right.
and to start talking about other things. And
Yeah.
you need to do this, or you should maybe think about that. We couldn't grow and expand in our space
Yeah.
in Maricopa. And the space that we found in Scottsdale really just fell into our lap.
Nice.
And it's the biggest space that I've ever been in,
Really?
and I've had several businesses.
But now you guys can offer more services.
Yes, and now we can open that door to combine our facial, our skincare with other services.
And what are some of those other services?
So we are specializing in quantum biofeedback.
Whoa.
That's probably our biggest draw, or will be our biggest draw.
I understand you guys are one of the few that does that in Arizona.
As far as I know,
Wow.
our
That's exciting.
particular
You're
system.
pioneer.
Well,
On a couple of fronts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've always
Exciting.
been a pioneer and a visionary when it comes to health and wellness.
That's incredible.
But my understanding is that the device that we use, the nearest location that uses the same device is in Sedona.
Really?
So-
Well, and Sedona is obviously a very beautiful place. Obviously, it's not for many of us that are out here. We might go to Sedona once every few years, So if we want those services, we want something that's attainable, that's closer to home, so to speak, right? I mean, it only makes sense to go to Sedona and get a treatment of some kind, right? Every time I go to Sedona, I'm always thinking like that, But what if I could get the same treatment out here and make it attainable, right? So with you, from my understanding, is you guys got these programs that you can educate, you can facilitate, and you can bring more to the public. So maybe demystify a little bit what are these
Yeah. Well, actually, I think
quantum things,
Yeah.
bio this, and I mean it's exciting because it's like they're new technologies, and many of us don't know what that is. So by you being able to introduce that to the common folks that are listening. I think that's great.
Yeah.
You know? What does something like that do for you holistically in your body and your skin and energy, right? What does that do for you?
Basically, quantum biofeedback re-entrains or reprograms stress patterns in the body.
Wow.
So when you think about stress patterns, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, when you start to shift those patterns, that's when change occurs.
Right.
That's when you facilitate. I'm not doing it. You're doing it. You're doing the healing because you're shifting. The awareness is coming to fruition.
Yeah.
It's coming to the surface. So now your body's able to change, and you're also able to shift in behavior patterns as well.
And it's actually your body communicating with the device. So it's taking human error or predispositions out of it.
And this can help with other areas like mental health, anxieties.
Absolutely.
Some of these things that, like, we're always kind of like used to just taking medicines for, or, you know, like, is this considered more natural and being able to do something safer for the body and the mind than having to be relegated to get indoctrinated into having to take medicine because the doctor said?
Well, there's a lot of things our bodies can do to heal themselves.
Yeah.
And as you said, the entrainment really leads to that. So if there's going to be times when somebody does need,
Sure.
medication or something
Right,
for certain things, or to get a broken bone
Sure.
put in a cast. But it really does. You don't need a pill for every ill.
Yeah.
If it's too easy, then it's probably not the case. Your body can take care of it. Should be the first step. So
That's awesome.
Although we are not going to tell clients whether they should be on medication or
No,
not.
because you, right? Yeah.
Right.
No. But it's good to have alternatives, right? And we talk about alternative medicine, naturopathic medicine, holistics.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that many of us don't understand. I've done a lot of studying in these things, right? Because, like, there's a lot of areas that interest me, right? And so I throw myself in different books and different things that, like energy, right? Like what is that? What is the power of the mind and power of energy in relationships, and how that can change, like communication, all kinds of things, right? I mean, there's so much that goes with what you guys do that people don't realize. It's kind of like a domino effect of sorts, and as you start studying and learning more about this stuff and then putting it in your life and practicing it, you start feeling better, right? You start doing things differently. Your consciousness is at a whole different level, right? And you start playing in a whole different level, right? So it's like, and I still haven't even gotten yet to experience what you have, which I will, because I have to, right? Because I'm like that kid, like what's behind that box?
You feel drawn.
I want to see what's inside that box, right? So tell us a little bit. We were on May 2nd, right? We were at, what day was it? May 5th?
1st.
No, May 1st was the grand opening. And then, but you said that you guys are doing a little backwards now. You have a soft opening. When is that?
Well, it just happened. We had our grand opening, and then we started working on friends and family and just ironing out the details.
Nice.
And just deciding, okay, this could be better. It could be anything. This could be better, and maybe this should change in this way.
Right.
Because now it's in real time. Now it's in practice. And honestly, I didn't do biofeedback in my old business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something I
is all
became
new
passionate about.
Yeah. Didn't you have to get like certified for that too? So
Yeah.
you put in some work. Well,
quite a
I'm super excited for the future of Lotus Evolution. It's definitely evolving into something beautiful, and I'm so happy that you guys were able to make it to the show today, and so we can get this perspective. And I tell everybody out there that's listening that there's nothing that you can't do if you put your mind to it and you put your soul and you have trust in God and being able to ask for that help. It'll happen through people. There's a reason why we met and why things happen the way they do. This energy that we bring to each other, this love, it's not by a coincidence, right? It happens, and you got to follow that, right? And I think as we help others, right, the whole idea behind everything that we do is reciprocity and helping others achieve better life, better health, better business, better money, better relationships, love, all these things, they're all interconnected, right? So I, unfortunately, have to close this session out because it's our time. But it was great having you guys. I'm excited for the future. And again, for those listening out there, if you're looking at getting yourself to the next level, you need to ask for help. Please reach out to Rios Business Advisors. Let's talk about it. Let's see where we can help you at and take yourself to the next level. Thanks for tuning in to Eye Level to High Level. If you're ready to rise above the average, subscribe, share, and follow us for more ways to take your grind to greatness. Until next time, keep pushing higher.